Maybe I went with certain preconceptions. I think whenever you go to something that's called a private school, anybody has certain preconceptions of what that is. You think of a place that's sort of, kids in uniforms, you think of a certain academic feel, and you think of a certain social feel. And I think Metro Prep, from the minute you arrive, confounds all of that. You would think when you go in that a lot of them would end up in the arts. There's just something about the environments, and because those things are more obvious than, say, engineering, perhaps. At least in the way the school is constructed and, the posters on the wall or all the theater events or the concerts that they've done. You would think that maybe there would be an inclination for more people to end up in the arts, but in fact, that's not true. You go in and there's a sense that this space is really for the students. And that's not true of every school. Some schools you go in and it's all clean lines. There's designed clearly to maybe to impress an adult. But Metro Prep is the kind of place that you walk into and you realize it's really designed with the students in mind. It's designed to be an environment that they'll feel comfortable within and feel that it's their own. And the students are just beside themselves with excitement to show it off. They really see it as their own. I think one student said, it's the kind of place where you feel like you have a key and they don't have their own key. But that's how they feel about it. It's like their space. They're free to roam within it and to change it and to do what they want. The music room at Metro Prep, there's recording equipment, there's instruments everywhere. There's often a teacher in there, but then in between classes, there maybe isn't. There's just the kids who are interested in music in there trying things out, actually recording things, maybe writing songs, maybe playing songs, maybe talking about music. And the walls are plastered with posters of classic rock stars and jazz players and stuff. And it's just, there's a lot of stimulation, but it's that kind of hands-on thing. And a lot of schools talk about being hands-on, and Metro Prep really takes that to the nth degree. It's like these spaces are for the kids to live within. And it's not like you're in the music room doing a music class and then you get out. These are spaces that kids really feel as their own. And I think that adds such an energy to the experience of the school. The thing when I think about Metro Prep is sitting in Wayne McKelvey's office. It really is like no other principal's office you could ever experience. The doors open literally and people know that. Nobody knocks. They just walk right in. If somebody's having a conversation, they sit down on the couch. That really states, again, the culture of the school. He wants the school to be a community with open doors. Yes, there's leaders, but let's all be together all the time, and you don't have to feel afraid. This room is as much yours as it is mine, as is every room in the school. I think through all my interactions throughout the school, they really are used to this very flat hierarchy. And they'll talk about their teachers as friends. And I know that it's not a teacher's job to be their friend, but it is their job to be their mentor and to help them find their way through different things. And if the students can think of them as almost equals, then that makes that mentorship more meaningful. I think they see a person who is strong and caring, and they want to be strong and caring too. One of the parents said, and I think it's absolutely true, that Wayne is very much interested in finding people who think differently. And that includes thinking differently than him. He wants there to be a real diversity of opinion within the school. And he certainly has achieved it. And I think the school really benefits from that. I think in some schools, at bigger schools, that you would say, teachers would be pushing kids to try different things. And that's valuable. You should try different things. That's great. This school is very much a small school, even in that tradition that people talk about small schools. It requires everybody to participate in everything. So if you're doing a concert, or they do these kind of music nights or something, or if they're doing a play or something, they need people to help out. It's less about saying, hey, why don't you come try out for this? It's more like, we need you to help out on this. The kids have that sense of, I don't know if it's responsibility, perhaps it is, that, if these things are going to work, we have to all do it together. It's common for schools to say things like, we're a community, we're a family. And in some cases that's true, in some cases it's not necessarily true. What is a community? A community is a commons that everyone feels welcome and valued within, and they all feel that they play a role within it. I think this is the kind of school where parents talk about it as their school and not their child's school, because it really is that relationship between the school and the family, and they're all absolutely involved. This school is the right school for many families, and for very specific reasons, because the kids want to learn in those ways. They want to be able to have room to express themselves, that they see success in a certain way, that success is about, becoming a whole person and taking on all those other values, as well as doing well academically. And I think that that's what this school delivers. It consistently delivers students who then go on to university, and more often than not land in university in the exact program that they should be in, and then they excel there. It's about being compassionate and being empathetic with each other. I think that's something that they want the kids to leave the school with and take with them into the world, is this importance of being kind, being compassionate, but also being of an open mind. And that means about yourself, and that means about other people as well. If you come in grade 9 and say, I want to be an engineer, maybe you'll be an engineer. But the first lesson I think that this teachers would impart is, let's think about that. If you were to go to the Toronto Reference Library, you know that you're supposed to behave in a certain way and you're not supposed to talk and have snacks. And so your comfort level comes from that sort of thing. In this case, with Metro Prep, they know that everybody is an individual. They see people around them being comfortable in their own skin, and they see people around them having opinions that are different than theirs, but not feeling that they shouldn't express them. And it's just hard not to take that on board. And I think it comes from the top. I think it comes from Wayne, it comes from the teachers. But it's not so programmatic. It's impossible not to behave that way, because that's just how everybody is acting in that space. The students do use this term Metro vibe, and I think it really has come from the student community, and they'll talk about it in that way. And it's just a way of describing, I guess, their experience with the school, but just the kind of the energy that's within it. I think it comes again from that sense of ownership of the building, that this place is your place. Let's all have fun together, let's work together, let's try new things. And there's just a kind of electricity that comes from that. At every point of your day, you're always with people that know you and that you know. And that can be a really galvanizing sort of experience. I mean, you can never hide in the back of a room in this place, but you also don't feel overly exposed. It's just about being in a community. It's about being in this village where everybody knows you, everybody appreciates you. You do get a sense of being appreciated for what you bring to the community. It's just a way of living day to day. It is a preparatory school in the sense that it's designed to address students who are intending to go to university. That doesn't mean they have to, you don't sign a contract or anything, but that's really the idea. These are kids who are preparing to go to university. I think in a really strict sense, in a vacuum, you might say, well, that means I need to get my marks up. I need a good transcript. That's certainly true. But I think that Metro Prep is also about, what are you going to do? What do you want to go to university for? And one thing that Joanna Johnson said to me I thought was so delightful. She said, kids come and they say, I want to be a business person. And she says, well, what does that mean? And what does that mean to them? So let's unpack it. And so part of preparing for the next step in life is just doing exactly that. If you say you want to be a doctor, I think she used that example as well. What does that mean? Does that mean you want to drive a certain kind of car and have a certain type of office? Or does that mean you want to fill in the blank? Let's make sure that when you make that next step, it's the right step. There's a student who wanted to go into math or engineering or something. And he ended up going to school for theater. And it was that idea of here you can be anything. And the school is just as likely to turn a theater student into an engineering student. I mean, it's not just the one way. It's about just really experiencing it all. But then again, for those kids who maybe don't end up in quite the right place, I think that they would feel empowered to say, you know what? This is another thing I learned. Sometimes we need to stop and reconsider, and that's okay. It's okay to change our minds. The school really does appeal to a very wide range of learners. It can be the very engaged learner, but it also is a great environment for those students who haven't felt engaged elsewhere. Maybe because other environments are too formal. Maybe they're too programmatic. Maybe they're not caring as much. For those students who maybe are struggling for whatever reason in other environments, it can be a great fit and a great experience. And that kind of story's been told again and again, and you can ask parents and teachers about that, and they can point to all these examples of that, of kids who have come pretty disaffected with the idea of going to school, and they become these great champions of it in the end. It is an academic environment, and social capital is gained through academic achievement and through athletic achievement. And I think appropriately that is the driver. You know, they have a rowing program and they're nowhere near the lake, but these kids get up so early and they go out and they do that. And so there is that kind of really getting involved in an endeavor like that and really putting yourself into it. And that carries over into other areas of school life. I think the kids at Metro Prep know that they're seen. They know that what they're doing is recognized. So they know their talents are recognized, but they also know that maybe if they're slipping a bit, that's going to be seen too. And that can be a powerful motivator. If you really appreciate this person who is your teacher, you appreciate them as a person, you respect them, you want them to see you succeed. And I really think that's the motivator here. And they see other people around them achieving. And that's the push factor. They want to do well in the eyes of these people who they do respect. It's not like any environment you've ever been in before. I've toured a lot of private schools and they're all different. But this one was just unexpected in so many different ways. From sitting in Wayne's office and then from going to the different spaces and seeing how the kids are interacting in those. It's just not what you expect, and delightfully so. It's just so different. This feature review has been published as a book, and it's also available online at ourkids.net.